Charity Gaming Guild proudly brings to you
Charity Gaming Guild presents
The Charity Gaming Guild presents
the
NatPun
NatPun
Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to episode 4 of our community episodes. This day, night, evening, morning, afternoon, weekend. I am joined by John. Say hi, John.
Hi.
Andy. Say hi, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
And Ash. Say hi, Ash.
Hi, Ash.
Lovely. Thank you so much for joining me today, fellow presenters. Today we've got some questions from the community that we're going to be going through. We've had multiple questions coming through asking about different elements of the community, and I thought, why not put a few of those together and we can answer people's questions en masse, so to speak. So the first one that we've got, which I will be directing this one more to Ash than anyone else, is what inspired the creation of the Charity Gaming Guild?
Well, but he's getting comfortable because he's heard this story about 5,000 times. He's going to hear it another time. It all started when my granddad was unwell at St Elizabeth's Hospice in Ipswich, and he spent the last part of his life there, and they looked after him and did a fantastic job and facilitated us all going in and seeing him and making those last few days really comfortable and memorable. So when he passed away, I thought, well, it'd be nice to do something to raise a little bit of money for them, to say thank you, because they're self-funded and things like that. So I thought, well, play D&D, we'll do a sponsored D&D game. We'll do like a 12-hour D&D game, raise a few £100 to a few people, and then that'll be that. I put the feelers out and had about 60 people want to play D&D with us, which was amazing. So I ended up getting more DMs involved and sort of ranging everything from there. Unfortunately, COVID happened, so it all got pushed back. And in that period of time, we kind of rebranded as the Charity Gaming Guild, which is where it all kind of happened. From that point, it's all just kind of grown and spiraled from there. So we now have more events, we've got all the trustees, we've got the Patreon, we've got Discord, we've got everything. We're a registered charity, so it's all genuine and above board as well. We've got our website, which John looks after. So all of that is in place, and we've just grown year on year on year. And there's no sign of us stopping or getting any smaller. And in fact, what we're doing is getting bigger and bigger every year. That's a very quick rundown.
That was very concise. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Were you expecting more?
No, perfect amount.
Oh, good.
Thank you very much. So I guess it also kind of answers the second question in a way, is how it was formed, like who was involved and how did it come together?
Yeah, so initially, if you go right back on the Facebook page, you can kind of follow story. I remember drawing player names in Zeke's bedroom with Zeke on a live. When you look at Zeke now compared to Zeke then, you realise quite how long ago it really was. But initially there was me. Then I got Chris Lay involved, who's our vice chair. Thank you, vice chair. Then Andy became involved at that point as well. I think I asked you to DM at that point, didn't I?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, and then we had another guy who's not with us anymore. He stepped away, and then Nathan stepped in to DM for that first big event. So they were kind of the first DMs, if you like, for the charity. And so they're the sort of initial people. We obviously then founded the trustees. All the trustees who were there initially are still there. We now have John as well on the board of trustees helping us out too. So those names have kind of been arranged since day one, and people are still involved with the charity who were involved in its very first events, very first games.
And for the rest of you, how did you get involved? So what kind of brought you in, drew you to it? What was your introduction?
That nod to me, I assume, means you want me to go first. Yeah, also. If I didn't have a choice, Ash just said, you're doing it.
Okay.
I feel like I kind of told this story, I'm sure, in a previous episode, and Ash just invited me round to have a demo game. I've never played D&D before at that point. And I just kind of felt pretty hook, line and sinker. I've always been a gamer, but not RPGs. And as soon as I started playing, and then when he gave me the opportunity to run a game, I was thinking, well, yeah, that appeals to me as well. Like, I like to tell jokes and make people laugh and whatever. And this gave me the opportunity of doing it on a bigger scale, rather than just being a character and adding a little bit. As and when it was an opportune time for my character, I could do the whole thing. I can make the NPCs and interact with the actual players, and it just really appealed to me. So yeah, I was very quickly on board and haven't looked back.
So for me, I started, well, it was in lockdown or COVID, wasn't it? One of the breaks there, started as a player with Ash at one of the sort of local village halls, and I was a player for a year or 2 years, whatever, and then you're looking for a sort of new trustee to join. Where I was at, it seemed like a good thing. I get a lot of pleasure out of the community and what we do. So it's nice to give something back.
Nice.
What about you, Bertie?
I can't remember.
I've always been there.
No, I was thinking back, and I was like, I was trying to remember how I got introduced to it. I was like, maybe it was a Facebook post, or it was like the initial thing that you put out, and I spotted it, and I was like, oh, I'm into D&D. A lot of the people that I played with previously, because where I live there is a lot of the American air bases, and I got into D&D and I played it with a lot of the Americans, but they get shipped out. So all of the people that I was playing with weren't in the country anymore. So I was looking for alternative options of where to play, and then well, it wasn't the guild at the time, but the game came up, and I was like, this sounds cool. I love what it's being done for. It sounds really awesome. And then it grew from there. And then at some point, Ash messaged me and was like, would you like to be a trustee? I was like, really? Okay. You obviously see something. And then, yes, it's gone from there. But it's nice to have seen that growth and that progression as well. And it's fun when you're not sure who knew who before and who has met other people during, because the relationships between certain people are so strong that you're like, they've known each other for years. And like, oh, we met a month ago.
Yeah.
That's a really nice thing to see with it.
That's one of my favourite things, is seeing the friendships that people make and the relationships that people make because of the guild.
Yeah.
And that can be people, so like me and John, we went to school together, but I don't know how many years there was between us leaving school and then getting back together to play D&D, but it was a good chunk of time.
Yeah.
And now that friendship is there again.
Yeah.
Well, and I've known for forever. And this just gives us something else to do together. But then you look at people like, and a great example, I'm sure they won't mind dropping their names, so I'm going to drop them anyway, is Nathan, Lizzie and Aya.
Mm-hmm.
3 people who would never have come together had it not been for the guild.
Yeah.
And now they are very close friends. And to see them have the opportunity to all get together when Aya flew over from Singapore, all happened because of what we do.
Yeah.
And although we're not benefiting a charity financially by doing that, we're benefiting other people. It goes right the way back to that first community episode. How does D&D help people's mental health? Well, we're building relationships and friendships, and we're giving people the opportunity to get together and actually meet up and in a safe environment.
So when you say, Ash, that we've known each other forever, Ash, I am your father.
That's your God. Meaning the word.
I guess the same you said for a lot of the members of the guild. I mean, I would probably never have met John and Bertie. I nearly just said you two, of course. I realised that on the podcast.
You two?
No, I would have known who I was talking about. So yeah, I wouldn't have met you guys. I don't think, unless it had been Bertie. Excuse me.
And you wouldn't have been forced to meet my father either.
No, yes, my brother from another mother. Yes. We'd have fun on the 21st.
Yeah, play with him. Don't leave him with me. No doubt. Okay, so that brings us on, mentioning the 21st, to a question that was raised. How it is that the charity runs the events that we do, so getting them set up, keeping everyone safe, and making sure the events run smoothly. along with kind of there's a question regarding diversity and inclusivity, which I think falls into that as well.
So in terms of before we look at events, we talk about them as trustees, don't we, to make sure that they're kind of viable as a concept. So it normally comes from either a member suggestion as to it'd be good to run an event here, because we seem to have a lot of people in that area, or I know people who aren't yet affiliated, a bit like Guru's Gambit. It was one of those, Nottingham Event Today was another one, where members said it'd be good to run it, and then as trustees we sit down, have a chat.
Yeah.
How many people do we think would attend? How much is it going to cost to run? And that kind of financial stuff which you have to do to make it viable. In terms of finding venues, I'm going to leave that to Ash to answer. That's where it starts at least.
Yeah, that's definitely the kick-off point, isn't it? Once we've agreed the event's viable, well, generally by that point we will have picked a venue as well, because obviously the cost comes into that. We generally try and pick venues that support communities. So again, we're providing that community benefit. Our kind of adopted home has become Gosbeck Hall, which one of our trustees is involved with to a degree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the committee for Gosford Village Community Hall, and the committee members are kind enough to let me use the hall for a very, very heavily discounted cost, because they know that we're doing good work and we're raising money for charity, and they want to support that. So there has to be a charge, because we are using resources like electricity, and we are only a village hall. It's not like we're a multi-million pound organisation that can just donate things for free.
Yeah.
But pretty much, especially in the November months when we've got the heating on or whatever, we're probably not quite even covering the cost of the heating for the day. But they don't mind, because they're doing it. The whole idea of the village hall is to offer facilities for the community, and that's what we're doing.
Absolutely, yeah, that's really important to us as a charity to make sure we do that. And that's why even when we look at things like the Nottingham Adventure Day, we used another, it wasn't a village hall, it's like a part of Nottingham, but it supports the community.
Yeah.
So we give back to that community in that way as well. Once we've got all that done and signed off, then the event starts appearing in places like Facebook, Discord and Eventbrite. And Eventbrite's been a recent-ish thing now, which has been really helpful in managing the event, so we don't oversell tickets. We can communicate with all of the ticket holders, collect all the information, hold it securely with GDPR and everything else that comes alongside that. What was the rest of the question?
So we go well. So one of them was with regards to keeping everyone safe, like inclusivity,
cool, right,
and it running smoothly.
Right, so keeping everyone safe. Obviously, we need to make sure the venue is accessible to everybody as well.
Yeah.
It's a really important thing. People play D&D from all walks of life and all levels of ability, so we need to make sure that everyone can get in, actually enjoy the event and become a part of it. Keeping people safe at the event itself. Everyone knows when you come to the event, you're going to get 10 minutes from me about where the toilets are and who your first aider is. All that stuff is considered to make sure we have it in place and we have the right number of trained first aiders for the number of people that go to the event, and all the risk assessment and everything is in place as well. All that documentation just sits on my computer. There's no one's really interested in it. It's pretty boring, but it's important. And it makes sure that everyone there is safe. Anyone under the age of 16 has to have an adult with them, or a responsible adult with them. So again, we look after young people from that point of view as well. Any venue we have has to have toilets, obviously, really important. We also look for like kitchen facilities that people can use. So if you want to make food or drink or something like that, you can. So again, it's comfort, things like that. We even put like rules in place, like one of the more common ones is no peanuts around the table, no nuts around the table. Some of our members have nut allergies, so we're aware of that and we're making sure members are safe from that point of view as well. It goes even further than that. So run the event today, and Andy needs to go to the toilet because he's old, so it happens once or twice during the day. So he goes off. I will sit down in his seat at the table and just chat to his table, keep everyone focused, make sure everyone's okay and sort of looked after, and no one just kind of left hanging.
Yeah.
Because the DMs are people too, they need to take a break every now and again for whatever, that's absolutely fine. But then likewise, we have the event organiser, which is normally, but not always me, and looking after the DMs as well. So jumping between tables, checking in with the DMs, make sure they're okay.
Yeah.
So we're looking after everybody, not just the people who bought the ticket to be there, but the guys who are running the tables as well get looked after and supported. Not just at the event, but in the run-up to the event. If it's an adventure that I've written, I'll sit down with people and make sure they're happy with it. We'll have little kind of Discord meetings to go through it to make sure they all understand it, make sure people come and get the most out of it possible.
I mean, go back to the example of the toilet break. Actually, sometimes I just do it on the chair and then Ash just mops it up to make sure no one slips over.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's it.
We're actually bringing a tarpaulin in November, just pop it underneath Andy's chair.
If you use a paddling pool, it's got sides.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. As I say, there's also some more subtle things, isn't there? Things like nameplates on tables, allowing people to, this is how I want to be seen on the day, or this is how people refer to me. It's not any rule written down, but it's just things like that are considered, aren't there?
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot more considered necessarily than is ever picked up on. Because you put, obviously, in the player packs and the DM packs, there's stuff there, but you also talk to DMs before the day start about, if you've got problems, this is where you go, and all the rest of it.
Absolutely, yeah. Talk about conduct as well in those packs, don't we? So people understand what our expectation of, what our expectations are of them. And that's important for keeping people safe and comfortable. So people know what the line is without crossing it. And people know that that's what they can expect.
Yeah. And then as DMs attending the events, is there anything for you that happens in the lead up or in the preparation that you think is a really strong element of something that the guild does to kind of prepare you or get you comfortable for it to be able to run the day to get it to go as smoothly as possible?
I think there's obviously the DM packs and stuff which have the kind of written rules in, shared well in advance of any event, isn't it? Sometimes you'll have a meeting with it, if it depends on the event. If it's a new event, sometimes you put 4 PMs together when you stuff like the November game and the event day, which we run year in, year out, don't tend to do it, but we always have a Discord channel for any of the events for the DMs where we can support each other and ask questions and stuff. We're always there before the day starts, just get set up, have that initial, pre-session chat, make sure everyone knows where everything is.
I think sometimes just getting a bit of insight into some of the players you might have on the table. So, particularly if it's someone like a new player, being aware of that so that you perhaps can make sure you prompt them and help make it easier for them to become engaged in the game rather than sitting on the outside perhaps too nervous or too scared to sort of to join in, but also give them that little bit of extra support and comfort and make them aware that if they're here to have fun, to make mistakes, so what?
I think that in Nottingham Adventure Day I had a table of people who'd never played before, the whole table. So there was a bit more prep in advance and a bit few more conversations that we had with Ash about what do I need to prep. Like, and we prepped some character sheets. They all came with their own and stuff like that, but I had backup character sheets to make sure it was going to run smoothly. I think I spoke to you about my adventure and pacing as well, knowing that things are going to take a bit more time, like looking up what spells they're going to do and stuff like that. So what do I need to do to adjust what I'm going to run for them, to slow it down. So we've had some conversations like that, which I suppose leads into the safeguarding and make sure it's a good experience.
That leads very nicely into the next question, is how we support new players getting into D&D and where they can start with it. So with the events, I guess specifically, what can a first time attendee expect?
Well, the first thing we do is kind of what Andy said, is highlight it for the DM and only the DM. We don't broadcast it that they're a new player, but the DM will say, we have like a spreadsheet and it shows who's on which table, and we highlight people in different colours. So newer players will be a certain colour, so the DM knows that they're a newer player. That's the first step. So how we support them is by having that sort of open door and that Discord channel available to them, and we'll put in there that they can request help, and we'll give them a one-on-one call if they really want to go through that character creation process, find out what they know and be able to support them in that way. It's not just new players though, there are players who have social anxieties or perhaps learning difficulties who might struggle with that kind of more admin-y side of it, that character creation. So again, we've got tools that we can use with that. Like what John just said, coming with pre-generated character sheets is really useful. Just give it to them, they just play. Haven't got to think about it then. But we've done it before where we sit down with someone and make a character with them. So when they turn up on the day, they've got something ready to go and haven't got to worry about it. Or to a lesser extent, if someone hasn't got the resources to do something as simple as printing a character sheet out. That's happened a few times. They've emailed us and go, I haven't got a printer, I don't know how I'm going to get my character sheet. No problem, I'll print it out and bring it with me. And they turn up and give it to them and they register.
I think a lot of it's about being open and making ourselves available though as a charity. The community's really good at it as well. I think one of the event days last year, it was the night before about 10 o'clock, and someone messaged going, "Can I do this?" And there were people responding in the Discord, kind of stepping them through D&D Beyond and kind of, this, oh, don't forget it's max HP, it's this and that, where they read the, not ready to play a pack. And, the community's really good, I think, at supporting that as well, which makes it a lot easier as a, sort of from a trustee and organisation level, doesn't it, to kind of manage that, knowing the community is really good.
Yeah.
It makes that a lot easier.
And any thoughts? Or any additional comments you want to make on that?
No, I think John pretty much hit on the nail on the head there. But we are fortunate that we are working and supporting and playing with a group of very like-minded, supportive players and DMs and sort of committee members and trustees or whatever. And everyone is there to make the days fun for everyone else, and players will be very supportive. And I mean, I can't think of anything negative or bad to say about it, which not that I'm trying to.
It's unusual when you get a group this large together to not have some of those problems, and we've been very lucky really that we once or twice maybe over the whole time we've had to speak to people.
I think the testament to it as well is that there are people coming back.
Yeah.
There's those who have been here since the beginning, and there's those who've joined along the way, but everyone comes back. And if they don't, it's not that they don't want to be there, it's so I've got an alternate engagement that I need to go to, or work schedules mixed up, and so I can't make it. It's never, I never want to go back there again.
Real life messed up by gaming.
Dang it!
You're exactly right. People, I don't think there's anybody who's only ever turned up to one event and never seen them again.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's always done at least 2 events, multiple events. So that's testament to actually people are enjoying it and coming back. And you're right, the messages I get. So when we got an event come out, so I talked to lots of individual people we haven't seen for a little while. People probably get fed up of me harassing them on Facebook and sending them messages. But there are people who genuinely can't make it because of work commitments changing or family commitments and things like that. And that's fair enough. All that stuff has to come before having fun, unfortunately.
And on the other side of it, I think it's important. I would hope that it's clear enough to people who come, but if there is someone who has had an issue or something they found difficult or they were concerned about during the event, it's to not be like, I didn't like that, or that was difficult, or this made me uncomfortable, I don't think I'll come back. It's going, no, speak to us.
Yeah.
We want to know, we want to figure out what it was, if it's something we can accommodate for, we can make some changes for, we can consider to keep you coming back, because that's what we want. And then we'll work with you to do that. So there should never be a fear to speak up in those situations.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always trustees at all the events.
Mm-hmm.
There might only be 2 of us at some events, might be 1 of us at some events, but there's always at least 1 trustee there.
Yeah. We are here to help. So, mentioning the trustees, as there are 1, 2, 3, 4 in this room. One of the questions we had through is regarding the methods and the discussions that the trustees have when deciding which charity to support. Which I think is good, because I think some people don't necessarily see that side. They just hear about the charity for that year.
I think it's worth talking about what happens before we're involved as trustees as well, because I know some people still don't quite understand it.
Yeah.
If you are a member of the charity, which means you subscribe to us on Patreon at any level, you can nominate a charity to be our beneficiary charity for the year. And to do that, you just tell a trustee who it is you want to be considered.
Mm-hmm.
That is it. That's all members have to do, to nominate their charity. It can be a Facebook message, a text message, face-to-face, whatever.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. From that point, we then do a couple of checks. So we have to make sure they are a registered charity with the Charities Commission, which is an easy check to do. And we also look at how much money they made in the last financial year. From that point, we then put all that information together and then come together at a pre-AGM meeting where we kind of have a look at those and make sure that they're all definitely eligible and there's none that we'll discount for any reason, like they're not a registered charity or something like that.
Yeah.
Beyond that, we then look at the amount of money that we raised last year and compare that to the amount of money that they had come in the previous year, to make sure that we can have as bigger impact as possible. And there's a couple of good examples. Like, for example, this year we're supporting the James Anthony Foundation. And we also had, what was it? Was it Hector's Greyhound Rescue? Was that the one? And the income that the Greyhound Rescue had was massive. It's phenomenally huge. But the James Anthony Foundation was very, very low. So we have a much bigger impact with this charity, which is why we went for them. So it's very much where we have the most impact, even probably more so than what the charity is for.
Yeah, I think for me that's an important part of the decision making, because it makes what we do more meaningful. If we're contributing, say, £10,000 towards a charity that's earning £250,000 each year,
Drop in the ocean.
Yeah, absolutely. But if we're adding 10, 20, 30% of what they would have achieved without us, then that's a tremendous achievement on our part, and will make a real impact for that particular charity.
If you look at James Anthony Foundation, compared to our grant payment last year, would have been 18% of their entire income.
Which is massive.
It's huge. Yeah. And then the Greyhound Rescue is like 0.03% or something like that.
Yeah. I think the only other element that we consider is also because we are a charity that's set up to help the community.
Yes.
So they have to be a UK based charity as well, because we want to be helping the people who we're going to benefit the most, but also those in the community. That doesn't mean that they have to be in the location that the majority of the trustees are located. They can be anywhere across the UK, but they just have to be UK based.
Absolutely.
John,
did you have any comments you wanted to make?
No, I don't think so. The official vote obviously happens at the full AGM, though, doesn't it?
Yes.
Which charity is nominating?
The vote and the announcement both at the actual AGM for the members. Although sometimes we will do the actual vote ahead of the AGM, but not in a meeting. It's like a more slow time over like a Google form or something. So if we ever have to prove the vote, we can. It can be audited and checked back.
Great. And then next question that we have is regarding the future of the charity and the plans to continue growing. So I think this is more charity level rather than game level. So not like the stories that you're going to see in the future. This is what the charity has planned itself.
We are, as an organisation, it's really weird. We're growing in terms of the amount of money that we're giving away. So our grant pot this year is getting bigger at a faster rate than it has done in previous years. However, the number of events that we're running and the number of people involved is stable. So it's showing that the people who are involved in the charity are investing more in us and understand more what we're doing, and we're able to generate more of an income. So what I would like to see happen with the charity moving forward into the future is we really grow that Patreon membership. Because the more Patreon members we have, the more we can do, because it justifies more activity. They have lots of discussions about lots of things which never happened as trustees, and part of it's due to time and cost and all that kind of stuff. If we have the membership, then we'll have to do those other activities as well to keep the charity moving and sort of rolling forwards. In terms of like growing other parts of charity, if and when the charity gets bigger, we'll take more trustees on. We can have up to 12 trustees as per our constitution. I think we've got, how many we've got now? 7, 8?
7, I think.
7?
7? Yeah, I think so.
Okay, 7. So there's room there to grow too. In terms of event sizes and things like that, we may outgrow venues. We might have to look at bigger venues or doing multiple events. So other events. I have like a dream in my head. I'd like to do like a convention based around the Charity Gaming Guild. So I'd do like a Comic-Con, but CGG Con.
Yeah.
So you get all these vendors come in and set stalls up, and there are people running games, and there's talks and seminars and stuff like that. So it becomes a bigger convention as the sort of highlight of the year. Obviously at the moment our November game is our big thing, but in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years time, why can't we be running a big convention and have all these people come from all over the world? And that's kind of part of what fueled the podcast as well.
Yeah.
As long as someone can push my bath chair around the venue, then it's fine by me.
Bath chair?
Yeah. I'll be very unplugged.
Oh, why? But why a bath chair?
I don't know, it just seems very appropriate to say that word.
It's good for his skin.
Yeah.
What?
I think one of the things that around the growth of the charity, and we've touched on it in the past, and we've mentioned it, and we've dipped our toe in. Historically, we've always pretty much been D&D, but we're not the D&D gaming guild. We are the charity gaming guild. Sorry, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And we've done a couple of little things. So I've kind of expanded, and I've done games that are RPG related, but not D&D. We did do a 24-hour board game, Kingdom Death Monster, which was sponsored, which was very successful, great fun, but tiring. But I'd like to sort of do more of that. But I think, and I know that we've got the event day in July, is it, where we're supposed to be doing painting and
The hobby day.
the hobby day. And one of the things we've discussed is me bringing one of my other games and having a demo table there. And I think if we can sort of expand and start doing events and games outside of D&D, we might attract other people. There might be gamers out there that would be really interested in doing a Warhammer day or an Infinity day or whatever, or one of the many board games we have between us, rather than an RPG. So that's an area I'd like to sort of push forward, not instead of, but in addition to.
There's legs to that as well, things like Magic the Gathering as well. There's huge communities out there we can tap into.
What about you, John? Where would you like to see it grow and go?
I think for me, from the community perspective, the more people we get in, the better. I would like to see us have more members rather than just people playing with us. The memberships and the way we do the levels starts very cheap, doesn't it? In terms of like £3 a month, something like that. It's not a lot. It goes up to quite a lot. The ruling council do. So again, trying to make that membership accessible to people with different financial means. I think community is great. I don't want to lose sight of the community, but also what we're doing and who we're doing it for. So similar lines to kind of what Ash and Andy have said, it's looking for those opportunities and those areas to grow in without compromising what we've got now in a way, is where I would see us going. I think that expanding into other areas, getting more people to become members of the charity and have their say on who we support, I think would be where I want to see it go.
And I think the whole concept, the whole principle of what we've built here is pretty amazing. I mean, at the end of the day, you think about it, we are all playing games, which means we're having fun. As a side effect of that, we are helping some people, and I know we've touched it on one of your earlier sort of chats, Bertie, about support for people with anxiety and the like. So we're providing a valuable service to help support people in that field, and we're raising money for a worthwhile charity. I mean, I think that's just an incredible outcome all round, and we should be very proud of what we're delivering.
Win-win-win, isn't it? Literally nobody loses out.
No.
What about you, Bertie?
Well, I think I might get a little bit too ambitious with where I want us to go. I mean, I've big dreams. So on a smaller scale, I think I would like to see, it's tricky because depending on the charity that we've chosen and their location, but I would like to see a bit more engagement with the charity. So maybe having them come to the events and have a little chat with our members at the events. So there's that like direct link between the people who are raising the money and the people who are getting the money.
News you might be interested in that.
Okay.
Carl, who is one of the founders of the James Anthony Foundation, James's dad, is talking about coming in November.
Brilliant. Yes. I think for me, that's what we were missing. It was a link between them because we find out who they are, we get all the information that's shared through Facebook and stuff, and then we see the picture of handing the check over at the end. It's like, let's just have a little bit more interaction if it's possible with them directly, actually hear from them, you meeting the people or the person that you're making that impact on. And I think that it makes it more real for people who are involved as well, and going, oh, that's what I'm doing this for. I'm sitting here and I'm having a whale of a time. I'm having so much fun. I'm making new friends. I'm being part of this. And yeah, I might put 25 quid in or whatever, and to me, for your ticket or anything. But then it's going, oh, that's who I'm helping. That's the difference that I'm making.
I mean, I think that's a tremendous idea. And I think it gives us an opportunity. So, you know, I know that we've talked about we're not just doing charities that are focusing on charities that are local to this area, which is where most of our members live. But what would stop us from doing an event specific to the charity? So, you know, if a charity is based in Manchester, we go and we run an event in Manchester once a year, or on that year, so that they can attend. If they're based in Birmingham or in Bristol or wherever it may be, I'm sure we could support them by setting up some sort of event where we actually turn up at their local vicinity for a day and we present it. We do a run game and they attend.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. On the bigger scale of things, I've mentioned it to you before, Ash.
Lord domination.
Well, close enough. You've probably seen it. You can do like D&D in a castle, like something like that, an event like that for us to run, of like all getting dressed up, having like a full-on banquet meal as part of it, and playing D&D in the castle by like candlelight in the evenings when it's getting late, and you get that real atmosphere and everyone together, something like that. A D&D cruise was also mentioned, because there is a gaming cruise. It's not specifically D&D, but there's a cruise you can go on that's all like game related, and like a D&D cruise. A charity D&D cruise would be amazing. So it'd probably be on the Norfolk Broads.
Right, Broads cruise are 12 people.
Start small and I'll just hire an inflatable castle to put in the garden.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that only canoe.
Oh.
Here we go.
And stuff like that. It's just the big events that I think I get excited about, and I'm sure other people get excited about, and I hope, and I cross my fingers and I wish and I pray that at some point in the future we will be at, and it'll be great if we are, and then we listen back to this and like, when we get into that situation where you can do it and the community is big enough that they want to take part, and the knowledge of the charity has got to a point where we do contact venues and they do respond when we reach out to them. Going, we'd like to do this with you, please. But I would also really be interested in hearing from our listeners and from our community what they would like to see. It's not to say, yes, we're going to do it in the next month or the next year, but it's an idea of what you would be interested in. And it's something for us to work towards. And
the thing is, everything started small, isn't it? You know, the first game was it 3 DMs and 18 people, something like that, and then the next one is 4 DMs, 5 DMs, 6 DMs, and then last year we were saying, well, if it keeps growing at this rate, we might have to look at a new venue.
Yeah.
You know, so even if it's things like that, whether it's a gaming day, a board game day, or a Warhammer day, or whatever, if it's half a dozen people are interested, that's enough to start. Yeah, potentially.
Even if it's
like
might
not be the flashiest venue on year one, but it's enough.
We can make it pretty, pepper and stuff.
I'm already thinking in my mind, how can we make roller coaster D&D work?
Well, I think like Tough Mudder, something like that, or a charity gaming guild football tournament. You know, it's not. The football is still a game. We can do this. We have a lot of people who. I fully appreciate maybe not everyone is physically able to do it, whether it's restrictions, age, or other things. But a ping pong tournament, you know, just things to bring people together, have them getting fun, and just engaging in a slightly different way if they would be interested. Stuff like that. And it's, if you're working in teams, you're working together, it's building that community more, and all of it. Through all of it, we can be still raising money for the charities that we're looking into. So yeah, if you have thoughts, if you have ideas, get in the comments.
There's also, there's nothing stopping people running stuff to raise money for us.
No.
A huge shout out to Anne for doing Paris Gambit up in Wellingborough.
Super successful. It was a really great event.
You went, didn't you?
I did, yes. It was on my birthday.
Oh, Very nice.
Yeah.
Birthday to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was massively successful and loved it. He loved running it, and we gave him the support he needed to do that as well.
Yeah.
So if you've got an idea for something that you want to run, it doesn't have to be D&D. Like Andy said, if you want to organise a Warhammer tournament and you want our support, contact us and we can give you that support. And there's lots we can do to help people. We can promote things. We can make those Eventbrite events. We can look at genuine cost relief applications, which say if there's a venue cost and it can go through the trustees, we can consider that. Can't say yes every time necessarily, but we can go through the motions and see if we can support you financially that way too. There's lots we can do. Lots and lots.
Okay. Well, those are all of the community questions that we've put together today for you guys to enjoy.
That looked painful.
Yeah, I thought I was going to pass out. I hope that's answered some questions. If you have some more that you think of, please get into the Discord chat. Send us across your questions, your topics, things that you want to hear us chat about. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me, Ash. Thank you for joining me, Andy. Thank you for joining me, John. And we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. We'd just like to do a shout out to our wonderful Patreon members, starting with our Ruby tier, Alberta, Claire, Dave R, Jason, Joshua, Laura, Paul C.
Our Sapphire member, Gary. Our Emerald members, Stuart and Neil.
And over to the Diamond Geezers, we've got Ash, Bertie and John, neither of whom are actually very important. We've got Chris L, who I think that's celebrity. Lizzie, Martin M, Neil, Zeke, and as of today, a brand new member. Welcome! Guess who? That's me, in case you didn't know.
And our Obsidian members, Dave F, JP, Niall, Becca, and Ethan.
And finally, the ruling council members, Crispy and Sophia.